Chosen one, direct your inner awareness to that profound, unexplainable, music, exhaustion currently weighing down your spirit. You've convinced yourself it's, music, merely burnout, simply the toll of consistently being the strong one for a room full of people who steadfastly refuse to embark on their own healing journeys. But the Holy Spirit has divinely orchestrated this exact moment to shatter that deeply ingrained illusion. That heavy, suffocating feeling you carry is not, music, depression. Instead, your spirit is undergoing a violent frequency clash because, unbeknownst to your conscious mind, it has already secretly packed its bags. You are experiencing the palpable atmospheric, music, pressure of a divine interception. Heaven meticulously orchestrated for this video to find you today because a love of truly terrifying, music, magnitude is rapidly approaching your timeline. It is not coming to offer you fleeting comfort, music, within the confines of your present cage. No, it is arriving with immense power to forcefully uplift your tired soul and physically relocate your entire life to a new destiny. Subscribe now to align yourself with thousands of other awakened, music, souls. Like this video if your spirit instinctively confirms the truth of this word, and comment 777 to actively activate, music, this powerful frequency of divine relocation. Listen to me very closely. I know exactly what you have been, music, doing. Think back to the last time you pulled into your driveway or parked, music, outside your home. You put the vehicle in park, you turned off the engine, but you didn't immediately get out. You sat there for 5, perhaps even 10 minutes, staring blankly, music, at the steering wheel. You were taking deep, deliberate breaths, desperately trying to gather enough energy to put your mask back on before walking through that door. You were bracing yourself for the heavy, draining energy that inevitably waits, music, for you inside. You feel like an undercover agent from another planet. You speak their language, you eat their food, but deep down, you know with absolute certainty that your spiritual DNA originates from a completely different star system. The reason you are suffocating is not because you are mentally weak or somehow flawed. It is because your internal vibration has completely outgrown your external reality. Your spirit is actively rejecting the environment you are currently trapped in. You are caught in a holding pattern, waiting for a love that will finally match, music, your profound frequency. But before that magnificent love can physically relocate you, you absolutely need to understand exactly what is unfolding in the spiritual realm right now. And please, make sure, music, you stay with me until the very end of this message. I am going to give you the exact protocol to protect your precious energy during this critical transition, reveal the 3 specific traps the enemy will cunningly use to keep you stuck, music, and share a sacred tool that will physically rewire your brain, preparing it to powerfully receive this monumental shift. If you click away now, music, you will only ever understand why you are hurting, but you will tragically miss the precise strategy and the actual pathway to escape this cage. You have spent years believing that your, music, current situation is an arduous test of your endurance. You mistakenly thought God was testing your faithfulness by keeping you anchored in a toxic environment. You have consistently been the emotional paramedic for everyone around you. When they bleed, you instantly drop everything to bandage their wounds and ease their pain. But when you are the one bleeding, you silently drive yourself to the hospital, refusing to burden anyone else with your suffering. You have absorbed their anger, their incessant complaints, and their low vibrations, constantly forgiving, music, them, and endlessly making excuses for their destructive behavior. You convinced, music, yourself that this painful endurance is what true love looks like. You thought that if you just endured enough, prayed enough, and sacrificed, music, enough, eventually the environment would miraculously change. You successfully passed the test of loyalty. You demonstrably proved you can survive, even thrive, in the harshest desert. But if enduring is truly the right thing to do, if, music, staying and sacrificing oneself is inherently what a good person does, then what exactly is God actually testing, music, right now? Why is the pressure relentlessly increasing instead of mercifully decreasing? Here is the truth, a profound revelation that will completely disrupt your current reality. your endurance was never the final exam. That was merely the cover story, the misdirection. You did not fail the test of patience. In fact, you are currently failing the test of departure. The real test is not whether you, music, can simply survive in toxicity. The real test is whether you possess the profound courage to walk away from people who persistently refuse, music, to grow, especially when a divine love unequivocally commands you to relocate. Look at Genesis 12 verse 1. God tells, music, Abram to leave his country, his people, and his father's household. In the English translation, it simply says, go. But the original Hebrew phrase, music, used there is Lekh Lekha. This does not merely mean, walk away. Lekh Lekha literally translates to, music, go to yourself or, go for yourself. God was not just telling Abram to change his physical zip, music, code or geographical location. He was commanding him to leave his familiar trauma so he could finally step, music, into his true, authentic identity. You absolutely cannot go to your true self while remaining anchored to people who only recognize and validate the broken version of you. The divine love approaching your life right now is carrying this powerful Lekh Lekha mandate. It, music, is demanding that you go to yourself. But if leaving is, in fact, a divine command, why does the very thought of actually packing, music, your bags and walking away make you feel so incredibly, overwhelmingly guilty? Let us expose the shadow you've been hiding in the quiet hours of the night. Your raw, unfiltered thoughts often sound something like this: if I leave, they will collapse. They absolutely need me. I am the only pillar holding this family together. If I step into this new love and relocate my life, I am abandoning them. I am selfish. You feel utterly paralyzed by guilt because your greatest weakness is actually your misplaced compassion. You mistakenly believe you are saving them by staying, but, music, you are, in reality, enabling their dysfunction and preventing their growth. I want you to do a powerful mental exercise with me right now. Do not move your body. Just close your eyes in your mind's eye. Imagine a thick, heavy, music, dark cord inextricably tying your waist to the people and the toxic environment you are currently in. See how tight, how constricting it is. Now, in your mind, I want you to visualize a sword of brilliant, music, white light, a divine blade, cutting completely through that cord, severing it. Feel the music, instant physical lightness in your chest as it dramatically snaps. Type "I am released" in the comments right now to legally sever that spiritual tie, music, in the earthly realm. Your misplaced compassion is incredibly dangerous. Think about Genesis 19 verse 26. God sent angels to, music, physically relocate Lot and his family out of Sodom just before it was utterly destroyed. The command was simple: leave, music, and do not look back. But Lot's wife looked back, and she was instantly turned into a pillar of salt. Why did she look back? It was not simply curiosity. It was deep attachment. She harbored a misplaced compassion for a toxic environment that God had already definitively judged. And because she sympathized with what God was actively destroying, she became permanently stuck within it. A pillar of salt cannot move, it is utterly paralyzed. When you feel guilty for leaving a toxic environment that God, music, is explicitly calling you out of, your compassion transmutes into spiritual rebellion. Do not look, music, back at the dysfunction God is urgently trying to extract you from. You know deep in your spirit that you have to leave. You feel the music, magnetic pull of this divine love trying to relocate you, but your body feels utterly frozen. Why is it that you know, music, exactly what to do in your spirit, but your physical mind feels completely paralyzed? It is because you are experiencing a severe frequency mismatch. Every environment emits a distinct frequency. The toxic, draining environment you are currently in operates on the beta brainwave, music, frequency. Beta is the state of high alert, chronic stress, anxiety, and survival. It is the perpetual fight-or-flight mode. Because you have been forced to survive in this draining environment for so long, your brain is now locked into music, this beta frequency. You are constantly scanning for threats, perpetually managing other people's crises and dramas. But here is the critical problem: the voice of God, the gentle leading of the holy music, spirit, and the gravitational pull of true divine love do not operate in beta. They operate in the theta and gamma frequencies. Theta is the sacred realm of deep peace, divine intuition, and profound clarity. You simply cannot receive a theta-level blessing, music, while your brain is trapped in a beta-level survival state. It is exactly like trying to tune into a beautiful symphony on the music radio, but your dial is stubbornly stuck on a channel playing nothing but loud music, aggressive static. You know the music, the divine melody, is out there, but you literally cannot, music, hear it because your internal receiver is jammed. You know you must go. You feel the undeniable pull of this divine love. But how can you, music, possibly walk away when your mind is imprisoned in the beta survival wave? How can you powerfully force your, music, brain to shift into the divine frequency of theta to receive your precise relocation coordinates without having to spend decades meditating on a distant mountain? Do not look, music, away, chosen one, because what I am about to show you next is not just a piece of advice or a helpful tip. It is a sacred tool that will completely alter the trajectory of your relocation, leading you directly to your destiny. The bridge between your current exhaustion and your divine relocation, music, is not more human effort, it is quite simply, frequency. Allow me to tell you about a sacred tool that science is just now beginning to catch up to. For centuries, ancient mystics spent decades isolated in music caves, fasting and meditating just to quiet the incessant noise of the world and access the divine frequency of music, the Creator. But God never intended for your spiritual connection to be a lifelong struggle, music, of mental gymnastics. You do not need 20 years of isolation to clearly hear His voice. Neuroscientists, including music, former researchers at NASA, have now definitively discovered what the ancients already intimately knew. When your brain is stressed, it produces music, beta waves. But when you are directly connected to divine intuition and profound peace, your brain produces theta waves. They discovered that through a specific process, music, called brainwave entrainment, you can use precisely calibrated sound frequencies to gently guide your brain out of the chaotic beta survival mode and directly into the theta state. This is not just a modern life hack or a clever trick. This is a digital audio key. It is a sacred technology, music, that fundamentally restores the original, uncorrupted neural pathways God intentionally placed inside your mind before the trauma of this world jammed your signal. You only, music, need to listen to this specific sound frequency for just 7 minutes a day. It requires no special, music, technique, no forced concentration. You do not have to strain yourself to focus. It works effortlessly underneath your conscious thoughts, washing away the persistent brain fog and profoundly recalibrating your music spirit to the exact frequency where divine instructions are precisely broadcasted. If your spirit feels a tug right now, if you deeply know you need this music atmospheric shift, I have placed information about this transformative frequency technology in the pinned comment for you to explore at your leisure. But once your brain is operating in that clear, divine theta frequency, a new challenge inevitably arises. How do you clearly recognize this specific relocation love when it finally arrives? How do you know it is truly the divine chariot sent to, music, uplift you and not just another cleverly disguised counterfeit trap designed to keep you anchored in the spiritual mud? You need a reliable filter. I am giving you the Uplift Music Protocol. There are 3 undeniable signs of a love that is genuinely meant to relocate you. The first sign is that it never asks you to shrink. Music, every toxic attachment in your past required you to play small, to dim your radiant light, and often to apologize for your inherent spiritual gifts so you, music, wouldn't intimidate them. Divine relocation love does the exact opposite. It powerfully demands that you expand into your fullest potential. It is terrified by your shrinking, not by your immense power. The second sign is that it requires physical movement. This love is not merely a comforting feeling that helps you survive in your current toxic environment. It is a powerful extraction. Music, it profoundly disrupts your geography. It fundamentally changes your routines. It literally pulls you out of the room where you have been suffocating for far too long. The third sign is that it speaks exclusively to your future, never dwelling on your trauma. Counterfeit love wants to bond with you over shared pain. It wants to stay metaphorically in the basement, music, and endlessly analyze your wounds. Relocation love acknowledges your scars, yes, but it steadfastly refuses to let you live in them. It only speaks, music, the language of where you are going, your glorious future. Look at the book of Ruth in the Bible. Read chapter 1 closely. Both Orpah and Ruth deeply loved their mother-in-law, Naomi. When Naomi told them to go back to their own people, Orpah wept bitterly, kissed Naomi goodbye, and went back to her familiar trauma in Moab. Orpah had emotional love, but it was not relocation love. But Ruth clung to Naomi with unwavering resolve. Ruth declared, "Where, music, you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay." Ruth's love required a physical extraction from her toxic, idol-worshipping homeland. She relocated to, music, Bethlehem, and because she bravely moved, she stepped directly into the sacred bloodline of Jesus Christ. If a love does not definitively pull you out of your Moab, it is not your divine destiny. But hear this warning clearly and distinctly. When you finally recognize this love, when your frequency decisively shifts, and you begin to pack your spiritual bags, the music enemy will not let you leave quietly. Hell always throws a violent tantrum when a chosen one breaks their chains and walks into freedom. The enemy will deploy 3 specific, music, traps to anchor you down and keep you from your destiny. The first attack is the pity trap. The very moment you begin to pull your energy away, the abusers and the energy vampires in your life will suddenly play the victim with shocking intensity. They will develop sudden, dramatic crises. They will look at you with, music, desperate, pleading eyes and say, "After all we've been through, how can you abandon me when I need you the most?" They weaponize your inherent empathy, music, to cunningly keep you imprisoned. If the pity trap fails, they will swiftly switch to the second attack, counterfeit comfort. Suddenly, the music environment that has been suffocating you for years will offer you mere breadcrumbs of peace. The people who habitually ignored you will suddenly offer profuse apologies. They will promise, music, to change, to be better. The enemy provides you with a fake version of peace to subtly convince you that you do not actually need to relocate after all. And if you bravely see through the fake comfort, the enemy will deploy the final, most insidious attack, the financial tether. They will leverage money, shared resources, or heavy obligations to make leaving seem, music, logically impossible, utterly impractical. They will whisper, "You cannot afford to leave. You will lose everything, music, you have diligently built. You are being utterly reckless." You might be listening to this and understandably wondering if this protocol actually holds up when the spiritual warfare gets truly intense. Does this really work in the harsh complexities of the real world? Let me tell you about a chosen one exactly 7 months ago. They were trapped in a family dynamic that was financially, music, and emotionally bleeding them dry. They suffered from severe brain fog. They were locked in the beta, music, survival state, constantly putting out fires for people who, deep down, hated them. They knew instinctively they had to leave, but they felt completely paralyzed, unable to move. They found the frequency tool I mentioned earlier. They started listening to the audio key for just 7 minutes every morning before the house woke up and the chaos began. Within 2 short weeks, the thick mental fog, music, completely evaporated. Because their brain was finally operating in theta, they saw their environment with, music, terrifying, undeniable clarity. When their family tried to use the pity trap, this chosen one recognized the manipulation instantly, without hesitation. They did not argue. They did not, music, defend themselves. They wisely applied strategic silence. For 30 days, they meticulously built their exit plan in complete secrecy. They let their family think, music, everything was normal, business as usual. On day 31, a door miraculously opened. A completely unexpected opportunity emerged in a vibrant city 1,000 miles away. It matched their new frequency perfectly. It was, undeniably, the divine relocation. They packed their bags and left. They did not lose their mind. They simply shifted their frequency, music, followed the protocol, and let God handle the extraction with divine precision. They are thriving today, and chosen one, you are next. Do not move your body right now. Anchor your mind exactly where you are, present and focused. Brace your spirit. This is not a regular closing prayer. This is a powerful activation. This is a commissioning, music, ceremony. You are about to be deployed into your divine destiny. Father God, in the mighty name of Yeshua, we recognize this marked hour of extraction. We declare that this is, music, a divine interception. Heaven is wide open, and the cloud of witnesses, music, is present with us. Father, you saw them sitting in their car, dreading the walk through, music, their own front door. You saw the silent tears they swallowed. You saw the sheer exhaustion, music, of carrying people who stubbornly refused to walk on their own. You saw their silent screams in the middle of the night, but they did not quit. And their unwavering faithfulness in the dark, music, has profoundly qualified them for this extraction into the light. By the authority of your word, I seal the Uplift Protocol into their spirit, music, right now. I bind the pity trap. I bind the counterfeit comfort. I bind every financial tether the enemy is trying to use to keep them anchored in dead, music, soil. I seal the divine frequency of theta over their mind. No more brain fog, no more confusion. I declare that within the next 40, music, days, undeniable physical movement will occur in your life. The doors of relocation are swinging wide open. Music, the love that is coming will not ask you to shrink. It will powerfully pull you up and place your, music, feet on solid, unfamiliar, glorious ground. The assignments of hell against your, music, exit strategy are completely cancelled and utterly nullified right now. Chosen one, God is asking you a pivotal question right now. Are you truly ready to leave the familiar pain for the unfamiliar glory? Will you finally drop the heavy bags of other, music, people's trauma and bravely step into this divine chariot? Answer in your spirit or say, yes, out loud right now. Heaven has recorded your yes. The angels have witnessed your agreement. You are legally dismissed from the waiting room. Go pack your spiritual, music, bags. The extraction has officially begun. In the matchless name of Yeshua, do not say amen yet. Music, sit in this frequency for 60 seconds. Breathe in the reality of your freedom. Music, let the anchor lift.